Welcome to the Golden State Media Concepts Sex Podcast, a show that examines all aspects of sexuality, from physical to emotional to spiritual. Join our hosts as they discuss age-old questions, common misconceptions, and the latest topics surrounding sex. They'll tackle topics about sexuality from the complicated to the hilarious and everything in between. GSMC Sex Podcast is your show for all of your questions about sex, even some you might not have thought of yet.
Welcome to the GSMC Sex Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network with your host, Andra, where the topic about sex is from the point of view of an older woman. Now, our topic today are the best sex tips ever. Now, Cosmo, awesome magazine, has compiled 85 of the best sex tips ever. Now, these sex tips range from over 50 years. Now, we've all heard something different here and there, but we really got to find out what works with us with sex. And then we can add our own sex tips, best tips. But we're going to go and hit them off. Now, we all know sex has been around forever. But there still is that never-ending curiosity. We always want to know, could it be better? What can we do different? What can we bring into it between ourselves and our partners? It's curiosity, and this is how we grow and define what we like and how we like it when it comes to sex and that person in a partner. So it's really a trial and error type deal, as odd as that may seem, but it is. So we have a tendency as human beings to wonder about other people's sex lives in comparison to our own. And are they the same as us? Are they having, those same same sex thoughts? A little tongue tied on my words. But it's still the fact that we are wondering, is their sex life better than our sex life? There's always a competition. But, the beauty of sex is that it is so subjective. Just because one person loves sex one way doesn't mean you can't enjoy just regular sex. And I love the term that's used, which is vanilla sex. And that's a pretty good term. I like it. You can have it, you can always evolve your sexual taste and proclivities. And that's that's what that makes it your sex great. Let's start with what we have for number 1 on the list. Masturbate every morning. Now, masturbating allows you to understand your own body, to know where to touch, how hard you want to be touched. And this is it's a really way to get you better in tune what turns you on. And by making an orgasm part of your daily self-care helps. Hey, if you want to do it in the shower, if you want to do it while you're still in bed before you get in the shower, before you even get up. But this is a way for you to know who you are sexually. And it helps when you're with your partner, because you can teach them about it and teach about your body and how it works. Now, this is an old school term, dry hump. Now, the next best tip is to dry hump more. Dry humping might be a little awkward, but I don't think it is. It's always been something we equate with being younger in our teenage years, very inexperienced with school sex, and a dry hump was, oh my God, the biggest thing. Other words for it are, grinding. Yeah, I mean, when you were at the school dance, you got a little bit of a free feel, a little bit of a grind in there. When you're slow dancing at the prom or whatever dance it is, the summer, the semi-formal, the winter dance. But this was a way when you were little, well, younger, shall I say, not so much little, let's not say that. But when you're younger, that was our way of filling up our partners and getting a little sexual arousal out of that. Although some dig it more than others. I mean, you're dry humping, whereas it's not direct, but it is stimulation at certain points. Like, as a woman, or as a female, because we're dry humping and grinding, women are sensitive clitoris. Once grinding or dry humping, whatever you want to call it, it gets stimulated. Even though it doesn't seem that it is, it gets stimulated. And it allows you to get very hot and bothered, because that's what we want. And this we do with our clothes on. We don't even have to take our clothes off for this, but yet we are being mentally turned on by dry humping. Do it more. It's a tease. It's a tease and a turn on, people. For the guy, the next one's for the guy. And we're not going to get through all of these because there are a lot. But we can go through, some of them. Or not, at least a good portion. So this is number 3. Now, men, women, we all know there are up and coming, like sex stores. They're all over the place now. It's not like when we were younger and if you said that you were going in there, you were horny because you were going in there to just go to the peep shows that are in the back. It was always the adult section. However, nowadays it's a lot more accepted to go into that sex store and pick a movie out or buy some toys, sex toys. This was for the man. Try a cock ring. Now, it is something, a cock ring goes over your penis, and, well, I've seen it done both ways, or and they show it both ways, where it either can go on just the penis, or I believe some men prefer where it goes over both the penis and the scrotum. But what it does, it restricts the blood flow to the penis. And by this blood flow restriction, the penis is able to remain hotter and longer while erect. So, and then you can, make sex last longer. Well, it can go on, and then when you're ready to want to come, take it off, and there you go. But it allows for the male's penis to remain hotter and stronger. It holds that erection a lot longer because it is restricting the blood flow. We have, next one is pay more attention to your aftercare routine. This one is a common BDSM thing. So, you got to check each other out. You got to make sure one another cared for after sex, making sure everything is good. Now, we're going to take a break here, and we're going to come back to this topic. I think this one's pretty cool. So, go get that drink, that snack, and come back.
Still on the search of that one true love? On the limbo in this crazy world of dating, marriage, relationships? Well, listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Relationship Podcast, your one-stop podcast for everything about relationships.
Welcome back to the GSMC Sex Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network, with your host, Andra, where the topic about sex is from the point of view of an older woman. Now, last segment, we were talking about the best sex tips ever throughout the years, and we were finishing up. Well, we ended on number 4, so we're going to finish out number 4 and continue. Now, this was number 4, just to refresh your memory, was to pay more attention to your aftercare routine. And where this is particularly, aftercare is a common thing when you and your partner are engaging in BDSM. And what it is you take time to check in with each other. And you care for each other, and to making sure each other is okay. And if it's still, is it okay for you to continue? Now you experiment with different dynamics that generally don't reflect how each person actually thinks of their partner. So this is a good way to make sure that it is still okay to participate in it. And you can also bring it down. You can have it where you work your aftercare into vanilla sex. Love that word. Or that phrase, shall I say. I think it's pretty cool. You get to check in with, taking time to check in with your partner afterwards. And then cuddling, give a glass of water, and, reaffirm your care for one another. This way, you know that the both of you you enjoyed it, it was okay, and you could probably do it again at one point in time, just showing that it is good sex. Number 5 on our list is watch a sexy show together. Come on, people. Porn shows. Or it could be something else that you really like. Well, with the TV shows and the movies that are out today, I think sex is what sells everything. So whatever you watch could be a sexy show. It's kind of cut and dry that it's every night. And that kind of sets the scene for that hot sex. Number 6, try a sex game. You don't need to buy one. You can even go on Google and look some up and play them with your partner. And this will turn both of you on. And they don't require any extra added things. Like, you don't need to go out and get a deck of cards or anything. It's just you and your partner and having a good time. So make up a game. It'll be your game. So now, number 7. Try a nipple clamp. They're not cheap. If you go into the store, you will find they are not cheap. It is a sex toy. But you can do nipple clamps with or without a partner. You can do it when you're masturbating. And they're exactly what they sound like. Little nipple clamps. They are little squeezy clamps that you put onto your nipples. Ladies, men, either or. And it it stimulates and takes care of that area so that you can concentrate on other areas of yourself. That's a really good thing to invest in. If you do it, when you're masturbating every day in the morning, use them, and then you're going to have sex with your partner, use them then. It doesn't hurt to use it because they're there for that reason. Number 8, invest in some secret BDSM jewelry. Now, we have what are they? Everything's Bluetooth. Everything is, what is it? Have to do with technology. So why can't our sex toys be the same? Well, they are. You have so many things now, that you can do. And being, having the jewelry, like, you see individuals walk around with their partners who are wearing collars with a chain, or, they have the nose to the chain as well, which is becoming quite a big thing. But it is handcuffs. You can use the handcuffs. And they have all different kinds of handcuffs now. So all different kinds. Furry ones, different colored ones, leather ones, you name it. There's some jewelry right there. It could be just something small, but that one little small thing that you're looking at is that trigger for, just to turn you on. And now, as I brought up briefly for number 8, how things have, even sex toys have become Bluetooth, which could be used wirelessly and controlled by your partner from somewhere else, while you have no control over it, which is, could be an awesome turn on for that sexual encounter when you get home. But number 9 is try a remote control vibrator. Now, they have so many different ones. All really sometimes geared towards women, but now men have gotten to them also. But one in particular is the panty vibrator. Women can put them on. They're controlled Bluetooth. You can do it yourself. Turn them on, play around with it, see how, at what speed you like it, and then tell your partner that. play around. This is where the game comes in. He can, he or she, your partner, you'll be wearing them, but they're controlling the remote, and you do not have any idea what your partner is thinking and what they're going to do next and what button they're going to push. So try out a new game with that. But like I said, they don't have to be there to be playing around with it. You could have it on beforehand. They'll call and say, oh, put your penny vibrator in. And as they're driving down the streets of the house and it's getting closer to you, or they're getting home, all of a sudden, poof, you feel it. And they're messing it with you, and they're getting you overly sexually aroused, and you can't control it. As much as you say, oh, I want to take that out, no, you'll keep it on. So I think technology is doing good in that respect. It's doing good in a lot of other areas, but it has been taking things over. Number 10, kneeling. Try kneeling beside your partner during oral instead of in front of them. Now that's different. You're used to, especially with the men, you're used to having the woman go down on their knees so you can hold their hair or hold their head there. By the way, not a lot of us like it when you hold our head there. So you might be a little more respectful for that one. Ask first. Because I'll tell you right now, I know a woman who bit someone. So I know you guys don't want to feel that. So think about it before you hold our heads down there. Now, obviously, this is the ultimate blowjob, but change it around. Come from the sides, laying on the bed, couple on the side, and do it. Because it's traditional to get on your knees and to be kneeling. Lay it down, do it a different way, on your side, around the corner. There's so many other ways that you can do this. When it comes to women, men, while we're standing, go down and have some fun. Don't be inhibited. Now, we always love massages. So the sacral massage. If you're going to experiment with anal foreplay is a must. Now, some people, their anus is very, butthole, whatever you want to call it, your poop chute, whatever you want to call it, is very highly sensitive. So, trying that massage in the area actually is a total turn on and added foreplay. All right, we will take a break here, and we have a few more. We've got a lot more, but we're not going to go through these all. We'll come back and go through as many as we want and as many as we can so that we can have some awesome sex tips. Some of them we know, some of them will be new. So refill that drink and that snack and come on back.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Welcome back to the GSMC Sex Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network, with your host, Andra, with a topic about sex. It's from the point of view of an older woman. Now, we finished off at number 11 in the last segment, the sacral massage, which is a massage of the anal cavity, the anal, the butt, the boob, the poop tube, whatever you want to call it. But they suggest that you massage it for 15 to 20 minutes. And this is a way of releasing tension and loosening up the whole area there. So if someone's tense, helps them to relax. I mean, you can look at that both ways. Some people like it, some people don't. I see people getting more tense with that. But hey, who knows? Once you're already sexually aroused, it won't be so much of a tension-inducing act. So let's move on to number 12. Don't be afraid to initiate. Now, we will, as human beings, doesn't matter, wait for the other person to initiate. We're sitting here wondering who's going to do it, or who's going to make the first move. And as older individuals, we've learned, the man's supposed to make the first move. It's a woman. A woman doesn't make that first move, the man does. But nowadays, that is not the same. It is so equally split. We still do have our, old-fashioned ways, in a sense, still instilled in us. But nowadays, sexual initiation comes from either partner. And don't be afraid to do that, because changing the tables up is really nice. And a way of looking at it is, if you decided your partner has been initiating it constantly, you turn the tables on them and you initiate. It's kind of a way of showing your partner that you can't resist them. So it's a really good thing to switch it up, surprise them. And they would love for you to do it more. And then when they get to the point where it's like, oh, I want to do it now, let them do it. Next one on the list, lean into your sexual tension. I like the way they explain it. It's just because you've been with a partner forever, doesn't mean you still can't get those butterflies when you get together and it comes to that sexual act. Just refrain from jumping the bones at the first sight, which is a normal thing that you generally do. Step back, let that sexual tension build and build and build, so you have more of they pronounce it as cathartic orgasm. Let's just go with that giant orgasm, that deep, long one. Don't be afraid. You're sitting there and you just, there's times where individuals just can't kiss enough. They just love to kiss each other. And that moves on to the next, and the next thing, and the next thing, and then boom, sex. Hold off from trying to do that. Try, and touch in and say, you could do it, and then let it happen. It's so much that tension that you've built up will be such an explosive orgasm. It really would turn that vanilla sex, turn up the dial on it. Another one that they talk about, now you guys are going to love this, add CBD into the mix. there's all kinds of stuff out there now with this. And they have CBD lube, arousal gel. You can get, it's using these products help you get a little bit more looser. It relaxes you. And then this way, you can just fall into it and enjoy the euphoria of it. Don't get it, with the THC, you have the paranoia, so this kind of eliminates that. But they are making so many things with CBD now, and they have now pushed it into lube and arousal gel, so try it out. I know a good amount of states are now legalizing it, but still with it comes safety, and just knowing not to go overboard, because some people's bodies just can't handle it. It is in a sense, it's a drug, so just be careful. You see anything happening that seems to be out of the ordinary, please stop. So that's a good thing to know. Make hand jobs the main event. Now this is really good with this without going into the penetration of sex. Taking a step back in one night and just use your hands. Ladies, jerk off your partners. Men, play around with the hands down the pants. Play with it and get them to the point of the foreplay and how you're intensifying it. And it's really hard. It's good to work into a routine, because if you can get them off that way, they're going to want more. So hand jobs are still there. Those were what we called them when we were little, when we were not little, but younger. And it is something that wants you to get more from your partner. So that's a good thing. It gives you a different way of viewing sex and doing sex with that foreplay one step extra. Next one on our list is do your errands normally, only with Benoit bells inside you. Now Benoit bells, or Kegel bells, they're little weights that women usually put into their vagina, and I believe men will put them into their anal cavity. This way, as you're walking those bells, you feel them, they're stimulating you. They're giving you an added sensation while you're in there. And what you're doing is just going to day errands, but you're getting sexually aroused, and you're getting all worked up for that ultimate sex moment when your partner comes home, or when you get home to your partner, or just the mere fact that you're going to masturbate. So they have a lot of strengthening devices that can be inserted into the vagina, into the anus. So those are really, really good. Next one, and we'll do a couple more, because we are coming to the end of our segment here. Forgive and forget with some super ultra makeup sex. Now, people, we all love the makeup sex. And I think that sometimes we just pick an argument so that we can have the makeup sex. Makeup sex is so intense and so powerful, because you are in each other's good graces again, and you're somewhat vulnerable. So it's awesome. Awesome. Now next, get some, and this is our last one we're going to go through, but you guys can look these up, because I think they're pretty good, and Cosmo's pretty good at with their quizzes and articles regarding sex. Get some cheap accessories to make shower sex all the better. Now, we all have watched that steamy movie where they're having the steamy hot sex in the shower. But we can do that too. We can get little toys, waterproof toys that will go in there, and we can play with them in the shower, which will turn our shower scenes into that one that they made with billions of dollars in the movie. And it will be catered to us. So, we're going to end on that note and take into account there are 85 of these. Those are the only ones that have been mentioned. I'm sure there's different ones for different people. Sit back and think about it. What's good for you and what you like. And that could be your best sex tip. So, again, thank you for listening in. And always practice safe sex. If not for your partner, for yourself.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Sex Podcast, part of the GSMC Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcasts on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type in GSMC to find all of our shows from the GSMC Podcast Network. From sex and relationships to health and wellness, life and happiness, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's episode of the Golden State Media Concepts Sex Podcast.